Hi everyone, my name's Ash Goodwin and I'm the content creator at My 90s Things. And in this video, I'm going to talk you through how to create and monetize nostalgia accounts in 2025. Now, over the last 2 years, I built a nostalgia brand with over 1 million followers across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I'm going to talk you through how to create the content, where to start, and actually how to monetize on the different platforms. Nostalgia works because everybody in the world at some point will be impacted by nostalgia. It's a personable feeling. It's something which is a bit like a gut punch is probably the best way to describe it when you have that first nostalgic moment. And it doesn't matter if you're born in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or even like my two kids in the 2020s, at some point in your life, you will be impacted by nostalgia. Social media companies love it because all of the content is shareable, usable, and there's so many views, likes, comments on each of the piece of content out there, which means that social media companies get paid via ads. That's why they love it. And we love it is because it transports us back to being a child. That's the reality of it, when we were all carefree and we just wish we kind of rushed to grow up, and we shouldn't have done that. So how do you actually create a nostalgia account? Well, step one is to choose your niche. Now, let's just say we go for the 90s or 2000s because that's the niches that I've chosen. Just choosing the decade is not going to be specific enough. You need to choose the niche within the niche. So some examples would be 90s pop culture, 90s TV ads or jingles, 90s discontinued snacks, school memories, anything. It's such a broad topic. You need to go specific and choose your niche within the niche. Now, I'm not saying you won't cover those other things because inevitably you will at some point, but to start with, you need to choose the specifics. Now, the reason why you choose this is because what you are going to do after you've chosen your specifics is go onto Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube and assess what other creators have done, what's worked, what hasn't worked, so that you can fast track what will work for your post versus what hasn't worked. And obviously it's the ones which have got the highest view counts, the highest likes, and the comments. And take some time to read the comment section because you can iterate your own version of this and utilize what other people have said to make it more personable as you go along. So when you're doing your research and you're looking for your niche within a niche, you're going to come across different types of content creators. I'm going to help you by identifying some who I've just got a lot of respect for, or different types of themes that I've come across which could be really useful for you to search. So we'll start with the OG nostalgia god. He's called Justin. His page is called 90s Kid for Life. Not only is he just an amazing content creator, he's a really good guy, really nice guy, who I've got a very loose relationship with over the last 18 months. Now, his style of content doesn't work for me to actually execute, but I love watching what he does. He's basically an actor, and I'm a terrible actor. And he kind of like reenacts stuff which we did in our childhood. It's really amazing, really quirky. And he's the perfect person for that. He has accumulated 3.8 million followers on Instagram through this type of content. He's remarkable. Now, if that type of content, if you think actually that's something that I want to, or I could do that, I've got that ability, go ahead and try it. I don't have that ability. What he does is really actually much harder than what people would think. So huge respect to Justin, awesome guy. He's the OG god. Now there are other types of content creators like Justin. So you've got the Nostalgic Latino as an additional example. Slightly different type of content, but something if you're interested in that just to look at from a perspective of he's done lots of viral videos. He's well known in the nostalgia community. So I'd look at those two as like that type of content. Now, if you look at theme ideas, I'm going to throw some out here for you to search. So you've got older brother core, which I actually really love. It's like almost like a Midwest emo type older brother core, skateboarding, Monster energy drinks. Back when you're like in the early 2000s, when you had that older brother who was like, I don't know, maybe the cooler older brother who was skateboarding. Just such an awesome theme. I really like watching and consuming that content. You've got British content creators, so you've got ones who just focus purely on the UK, people who focus on the US. My page is more storyboard type content, so I'm not Justin, but I do stories like Justin and Nostalgic Latino to So we do the storyboard content, but I'm just not in it. So that's kind of like why mine's like, I'm almost in between the two verticals. So that may help you just when you're looking at different types of content creation, my page, their pages, type in older brother core, which is really cool. Type in school memories, type in like, there's pages now just on retro gaming. Just do those searches on TikTok and YouTube, and it will really help to populate the type of content for you to kind of look at doing your own interpretation of. Okay, great. So you've chosen your niche within your niche. Now you need to create your name and the visual identity of your page. I chose my 90s things because I've got another business called My Product Path, and I've always felt that the my, playing off like my protein, it just seemed to resonate with me as a person. Like, it's mine, it's my stuff, it's what I've created. And when people consume it, they've told me the same thing. It's like theirs, it's what they've created. And it's just a really shareable name. Now, the name could be anything. It doesn't really matter what your name is, because it's how you brand the name out, which matters. Look at Nike, look at Adidas. We have a feeling of them because of how they've been marketed out. So choose your name, choose whatever name that you feel is correct. You could just choose your actual name if you wanted to. And then you need to create a visual identity. So some people may create a logo from day one. I don't think you need to do that personally, but you could invest the money, go into Fiverr and get somebody to create you a logo. What I did, just to test this theory, just to see actually, is this something I'm going to stick at for like a long term, or is it going to be like a 3-month play? I use this image here, and it's just a cassette tape, and it says 90s in the middle, and I added the my and whatever the post was about here, and that was like slide deck 1. That was the first photo, and then people knew it was me and my content. I did it on every post for like over 100 posts. It was insane, but it created a visual identity that people could recognize me and that post. Now for you, it could be something specific, like you could just use liminal type pictures, you could just use older brother core type pictures, you could just use like childhood pictures. It could be a consistent theme of imagery that you use, or it could be something like your actual text, how you speak, your wording, your hook, your storyboard content. So the visual identity can be both visual in terms of pictures, but also imagery. So choose whatever theme that you want to go for, and don't be scared to try new things. You might have to try 7 or 8 themes before you stick to the one that you want to go with. That's just part of discovery. That's just part of learning, posting stuff, it failing, and it just you iterating as you go along. But now you've got an idea of your visual identity, we're going to go to the next step, which is, where do you actually get the content from? So where do you source the content from to create your social media posts? Well, obviously AI in the last 18 months has taken over. Everyone uses it, from ChatGPT, which I seem to use every single day, to Kling to create certain images, to other voiceover tools and products. Where you need to be mindful using AI tools today is TikTok and YouTube have cracked down on the AI generated content, which means that if your page is monetized, they often will not pay out on a fully AI generated video today, which sounds pretty crazy. They were paying out to begin with, and now they've changed the rules because everyone was doing it. So be really mindful when you're creating AI videos that could happen. If you're not going to do video content to begin with, and you want to do still photos in a video reel, or still photos like as a slide deck, the best places that I found content on is Pinterest. Pinterest is amazing, and you have to do different searches on Pinterest to get the right outcome of what you're looking for. So I did a video on what was it like to be a 90s or 2000s teenager. If you put 90s teenager aesthetic into Pinterest, it comes up with less results versus 90s teen aesthetic. So you're going to have to iterate and figure out your wording of what you're looking to get on Pinterest. But Pinterest is a fantastic source of open source imagery that you can use. If you put it out there, you can use it for videos. Now, the other one that I like, which is my probably most go-to, is Reddit nostalgia threads. The reason why I love Reddit nostalgia threads is because you can see live time who's liking it, who's commenting on it, what's doing well, what's not doing so well. So I tested a video where I chose 20 of the top trending posts on, I think it's R90s Nostalgia on Reddit. And that video got millions and millions of views on TikTok and on Instagram and on YouTube. It was insane. So the great thing about Reddit is you can literally read what people are posting. So you can literally tagline some of your videos with like the top performing comments as well. So Reddit for sourcing content is just remarkable. I was new to Reddit before, I was new to Reddit when I started creating my social media content. Now, even though you're going to source all of these images from different websites, inevitably at some point, one of them will be copyrighted. It happened to me on a video which I made, I think it was like £1,000 on. That money was taken away, and the section of that money was then given to the person who owned one of the images. So just be a bit mindful of that. If it performs well, you may get that. If it doesn't, you're not going to. And you have to appeal it on each different platform to see if you can keep the monetization. But the reality is, when you're sourcing that many images per reel, some may fall through the gaps. The only way you don't is if you actually purchase each image to use, which costs a substantial amount of money. So try and use open source free images which are out there for public use. Now, when you're doing photo reel content, you could either add voiceover commentary, so you could do it yourself. You could use an AI tool, or you could literally just do text imagery. I started mine doing text imagery on photo reel content and learned how to storyboard, tell a story through the images as I went along on reel content. So content which you literally watch for 60 seconds plus, and it tells you a story and takes you through a journey, a nostalgic journey essentially. So figure that bit out, and then from there, once you've got all your images and once you've added all your text to it, once you've done your storyboard, you're ready to post. Okay, so you've got your niche, you've got your imagery, and now you're ready to create your content. So I always use CapCut or TikTok to create my content. TikTok's editing tool for me is the most user-friendly, it's the best. Instagram's is not very good at all, neither is YouTube. So if we use TikToks, what my recommendation to you is, if you're gonna do a picture with text, it's upload all your photos. So let's just say 10 photos, upload 10. Click next, and as you get there, add the text onto it, whichever way you want to do that. Add the text onto it, onto all 10 images, and then you have to download. TikTok used to just let you download it. Now they've changed that so you have to post it to download it. You can post it to your story to download it, or you could post it to your page to download it. Post it to the page to download and then delete it from your page. And then you've got your 10 images. Once this is done, you're gonna go back onto TikTok, you're gonna upload those 10 images, and then you're gonna add a video to it. The reason why you need to add the video is because it takes it from a photo reel video to an actual video. So if you just leave those 10 up, it'll post it as a photo reel. Once you add the video, it transitions it and transforms it into a video. Then when you get onto the actual video itself, you go back and delete off the video that you added and then focus on those 10 clips. So you've edited your video. You can play around with TikTok and use different themes and different types of videos. CapCut's really good for certain nostalgic themes. I did one which is here, and I used CapCut for that, and it just made things a little bit easier. CapCut is probably better to not be noticed by the system when you're creating content. So when I say noticed by the system, TikTok may notice the fact that I've uploaded those pictures, then taken them down. And then I've uploaded a video of that, which means that you could get caught up in the algorithm from a monetization perspective, which I'm going to allude to further on. Whereas what you could do is actually put those images into CapCut. That literally automatically creates a video there, download it and publish it to TikTok. Now, you've just created your video, you're ready to go. But let's be really honest here, like most of the videos that you see have music behind them, so let's talk through the best nostalgic sounds out there. Now for me, there are 3 core nostalgic sounds that you will need to use and that you will have heard on nostalgia videos and as you're doing your research. Number one, the one which got me into nostalgia, is called Aquatic Ambience from Scizzie. You may recognize this if you're a 90s kid from Donkey Kong Country, because it's the underwater scene in that. Now that has its own sound, by the way, so you can still use that sound. But this, for me, when I first heard this video, the first video I ever watched, that sound with a school memories video, I was hooked. I was in a trance. I had a glass of wine at the time, and I was like, crap, like what is this emotion that I'm feeling? That's why Aquatic Ambience for me personally will always be my number one. Now, one which is slightly more recent that people love and that people may put ahead of Aquatic Ambience is called Childhood by Daniel MP3. Now, at the start of that sound, the children shouting, it just reminds me of being back on the playground as a kid. Absolutely amazing song. It's arguably number one. Like, those two are there neck and neck for me. Number three is called Where Is My Mind? Now, this sound's actually got me my most viral video on Instagram at 57.1 million views. It's actually a take of the song Where Is My Mind by the Pixies, and they transformed it into this. It really works well for your storyboard content that's taking you through a journey. Childhood works better for only 90s and 2000s kids will understand type video content. And Aquatic Ambience for me just works for similar types of content or stuff which takes you into more of a trance, not the text. The reason why Where's My Mind works better for text is just because it's less heavy. It's slightly less impactful in the gut than Childhood and Aquatic Ambience, which means that you can focus more on the story. Now we're about to move on to what platforms to post on, how to post, why to post, and why content differs on each one. Let's just stick with the sounds I'm posting to YouTube, because this is a mistake that I made when I first got onto YouTube. So once you've done your video on TikTok, you've posted it and you've downloaded that video into your photo library. You can then upload it to Instagram, Facebook, and they will auto match the library. So Daniel MP3 Childhood will be auto matched into Instagram, into Facebook. They auto do it, but YouTube doesn't. So if you create a video, Daniel MP3 Childhood on there, and you upload it as a YouTube short, your video will be flagged and it'll be restricted to be in post. What you need to do is upload the shorts, click onto the audio button there, then slide your audio down and slide their audio up. That removes your audio from the post, adds their library, so they can literally just auto match it on the library from that perspective, and then it gets posted with no restrictions. It's a mistake that I made, and I'm only sharing it with you because I think it will save you a lot of time, a lot of headaches when you're creating your content. Seeing as we're on YouTube, let's start with YouTube as the platform to post on. YouTube is a beast like no other. It's the hardest platform to grow a following on. At the start of this year, I started posting on YouTube and I've got to 101,987 subscribers in 10 months. Now, I'm going to tell you what not to do and what to do on YouTube. So let me be really, really clear. If you are going to create the photo reel content, which is like what I have done to grow my followings on all my social media accounts, you will not be eligible for the YouTube Partner Program. It sucks because I was accepted into it in March and then I was kicked out in April because they saw it as being reused content. Even though all the content to me was authentic because I created it, it's my voice, it's my interpretation, because I didn't do voiceovers on the content because I wasn't in the content, they cancelled me from the YouTube Partner Program. So if your aim for all of this is to make money and make money on YouTube, my advice to you is do not start there. Only start there to maybe grow a following, because there is an angle to this which does work. So YouTube, here's what to do. When you start creating your content, you can use that content I've told you just not to use to grow your following. And if you think about it, I've just gained over 100,000 subscribers using that type of content, which you could then essentially flip. And you could flip it to be doing this type of content where you're adding value to people. You start talking about nostalgia in more depth. You kind of then create a community in this way. It can accelerate things and de-accelerate things. Accelerate things because you might get to the 4,000 watch hours you need in a year quicker, but it can de-accelerate things because people don't know who you are, which is my challenge right now. But it can amplify your following. I went from 0 to 25,000 subscribers in the first 3 months, then 25,000 to 75,000 in the next 2 months. So it has its pros in terms of you can really accelerate the following because YouTube is promoting their shorts. Now, here's how to get picked up onto YouTube so they don't see you as a bot. I tried this last year. I've got like 500 videos and I was posting 2-3 videos a day, thinking if I just slam the content on there, this will just work. I was stuck on like 8 views, 100 views, 2 views. My 51.7 million view video got 6 views on YouTube. So you can't just upload all of your content in one go. So what I did was jumped onto YouTube, searched a video, how to actually grow a following on YouTube. Don't remember the person's name, so please forgive me, I can't link it, but they said, do this. And that's post 1 video a day for 3 days, miss a day, post another video a day for 3 days, do that for 2 weeks. And the reason why is their algorithm's trying to pick you up, make sure you're verified and not a bot. So after 2 weeks, then you can up it a little bit, just a little bit. So 2 to 4 weeks, you can do 1 video, 2 videos, miss a day, 2 videos, 1 day, 1 video, miss a day. And after you've got past the 1 month mark, you can then do your 2, 3, 4, 5 videos a day, whatever you want it to be. And that's what I did. So when I started that at the start of the year, that's the exact strategy that I used. My video view count went through the roof. And what I found out on YouTube was the content you need to create on YouTube is different to the content you need to create on TikTok and on Instagram. The content which works generally on YouTube is only 90s and 2000s kids understand. If you put that as a tagline, generally your videos will be viewed more than if you use a random tagline, because that's the most common thing that people are searching for on YouTube in this era. Or they might be doing 90s nostalgia or 2000s nostalgia, so the keywords are being picked up. Now, what I will say about YouTube and nostalgia is it seems to be slightly less mature on this platform. So I've only taken it seriously for a year. A lot of the other big nostalgic content creators have only been taking it more seriously for like 6 to 12 months. And now they are verging over to YouTube. So it's going to become, the maturity is going to happen pretty rapidly. So if you want to start, you really need to start now. Now, if you do want to get monetized on YouTube and that's something you really care about, you're probably best off doing split screen voiceovers. So you could do your video at the bottom and you reacting to it at the top. It takes a lot longer to get to your 10 million shorts views as to what you would need for that. But that's going to be the only approach, the only way YouTube will allow you in. Now let's move over to TikTok. This is where I started my nostalgia journey, yet it's my least favorite platform of them all. And the reason why is they literally change the algorithm every 2 to 3 months. It's impossible to keep up with. And they do everything in their power to not pay you out for your content, which is my one criticism of TikTok. But it's super easy to get monetized on their platform. Probably Instagram with their new integration with Facebook, which I'll talk through in shortly, is starting to compete with TikTok now on this, but if you just look at what you need to get monetized on TikTok versus YouTube, it's insanely easy. So you need to get to 10,000 followers with 100,000 views in the last 30 days. Now, if you're starting out, that might sound like a lot, and it did to me. And now I gotta realize I didn't even know what the TikTok creator form was when I first started. I didn't get monetized till I was at 80,000 followers on TikTok because I didn't know it existed. So the best way to get to 10,000 followers is to create slide deck photo content. I would almost ignore the videos to begin with, so like the reel content. I'd still create the reels, but I'd post a slide deck pictures on TikTok. Here is why. It gets pushed to the For You page better and faster than the videos. Now, I actually tried this on TikTok. So this was my original TikTok page. It's at 279,000 followers. And I created another page called my 2000s things, or my ooze things. And that's now at 28.4 thousand subscribers. But if you look at the content which I created, 6.2 million views. It was a slide deck. These are the first ones that I actually created. And then you had another one here, 3.3 million views, and it's a slide deck content. So the reason why I did slide deck first, and I got to 10,000 subscribers in like 15, 16 days, something like that. And the video view count was there. So I got 100,000 views. I got my subscribers. I can apply for the monetization platform, because when it says video views, it still counts the views as a video, even though it's a photo slide deck. I thought you had to get 100,000 video views of actual videos, but you don't need to do that. So that's a little tip for you. Start with the slide deck photo imagery. It's easier for people to consume, and you'll get to your 10,000 followers easier, quicker, and faster. So what we're going to do now is actually look at the money that I actually made on TikTok. And the only reason why I'm doing this is to show you that I'm not talking crap, basically. So in 2024, TikTok's algorithm was fantastic. I remember being on holiday with my family. The money that I made after tax for 1 month paid for the spending money for that trip. It was awesome. So 1 month we did £2,000. Another month, £3,680. Of this one video in particular, £1,847. Another one here, 2,830, and at the bottom 1,500. And you can see at the top here, content violation of where they're basically trying to say your content isn't eligible. So that's just some examples. I think last year I made just under £20,000. So what, $25,000 on TikTok just from the videos. Now, what they used to do was they used to allow the video reel content, and you'll see a common theme here, but they've stopped paying ad revenue out on that because they see it as low quality and not authentic. So I think what's basically happened is so many people have created so many of these accounts that are being monetized that they were probably paying out more than what they were maybe generating, which doesn't really make sense because the more videos they have, the more ad revenue that they make. But hey, the less they got to pay us, the more that they keep themselves. So now they've followed the same rules as to what YouTube do, where no AI content, no content which they deem to be low quality. So all of these video reel contents, the photo reel contents that we have been talking about in this video, maybe 1 in 10 might get through now. You might still get some monetization from it, but very little. They're going to cancel it, and they could violate your account and basically remove you from their program. So like on YouTube, and the good thing is if you're creating the content for YouTube, it works really well on TikTok from a monetization perspective. You need to do voiceovers, you need to do edits, where if you do your video, you do reaction type videos to it, or just you in it talking about your memories of nostalgia. That's how you make money on TikTok now. Unfortunately, due to the change in rules, you no longer make the money on the faceless videos like that. It sucks because my revenue's gone down significantly off the back of it, but I knew it was coming. Every 3 months, TikTok did the same thing. Let's go more positively. Let's flip now to Instagram. Instagram changed their algorithm last year, and they prioritize real content. And this was to battle with TikTok. And now they're looking at even longer form content to, say, compete with YouTube. That's kind of like what their goal is and what their aim is. But the positive thing is they have now integrated Facebook into Instagram. So they did this last year. So if you post a video now, a reel onto Instagram, it goes to Facebook. So it goes to 2 separate reel accounts. So on my video, which had 51 million views, I think like 30 or 35 million were from Instagram. The rest were from Facebook. Now, last year, they were not monetizing Facebook as a commodity for your content. This year, they are. So only in the last couple of weeks, I think I'm at like $500 from 2 million views that they are now paying me on my content. And it doesn't matter to them if it's reused content, whatever content it is, they're just paying you out on that money. Now, this won't last forever. This is a very, very short-term gain. They'll do this to get the creators onto the platforms. They'll do this whilst they've got the money, and then obviously gradually, like what TikTok have done, they will pull it away. So whilst things are hot, post. Get posting on Instagram, connect the Facebook up to. I've gone from 0 to over 6,000 followers in 5 days, just off posting on Instagram. And obviously $500 in that same period of time, which means that over the course of a month, maybe I'll make $1,000, $2,000, something like that, which is awesome. So that's motivated me to start hammering my posts back onto Instagram to make sure we get more content on there so that we can now actually get monetized on Facebook. Now, I haven't had to do anything to be monetized on Facebook. I'm not sure it's because I've already got the followers on Instagram. I don't know. I've not looked into that. I'll put something in the description after this video. But Instagram is phenomenal. The algorithm works, the followers work, nostalgia's hot on Instagram right now. So the only rules for Instagram that I would suggest for you is follow a similar pattern to YouTube, just to begin with, to know that you are not a bot. So the same sort of posting you would do on YouTube, I would do on TikTok and I would do on Instagram. After the 4 weeks, Instagram and now TikTok, they don't care how much you post. You can post 1,000 times a day. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get pushed to some of your followers on Instagram, maybe like 20% of your followers, the content gets pushed to. And then obviously it goes to the scrolling, the For You page, like they're equivalent to that of TikTok, but it's still better than TikTok because your posts are at least getting pushed to your followers. It doesn't matter how many times you post. They don't care. There's no strategy anymore about the timings that you post. It doesn't matter. Now, once you've got the data, you could have a look when your followers are online and optimize your posts for that. Instagram doesn't care anymore. Post 1,000 times a day. They don't care. It doesn't matter. You won't be seen as a bot. And you will increase your following. So I really struggled on Instagram. I didn't use it as a priority. My main focus was TikTok when we were generating the revenue. And then I pivoted to Instagram because what I found from a brand credibility perspective, Instagram's still seen with YouTube as like the number ones. When brands look at you, they're looking at your content on Instagram, on YouTube, less so TikTok. TikTok Shop has taken over on TikTok. Everyone's down there for now. It will change at some point, maybe. But Instagram doesn't appear to be going down that route. YouTube doesn't appear to be going down the same route as TikTok. TikTok's a bit like a QVC in 2025, which I find really amusing. Now we've discussed the different platforms, the pros and cons, what to do, what not to do. Let's just dial into the monetization piece, which some people will be really interested in. So on TikTok, once you're monetized, you need to do 60+ second videos in order to be eligible to be paid out on your video. 59 seconds, 59.9, you're not going to get paid out. Photos, real sort of slide deck content, you will not get paid out. So focus on the 60+ second video content, and that's how you're going to get paid and monetize. And you need to apply for the creator fund and do all the bits like that. And that's pretty straightforward. On Instagram, you don't get paid out but until you're connected with Facebook, and then you're starting to get paid out via that route. And on YouTube, obviously you've got to get to the partner rewards program on YouTube. But there are other ways to get paid through creating a following. So you could look at affiliate marketing. So Etsy, Amazon, you can create different affiliates that you could push out to your followers. If you've created a newsletter, just in bios, different click up links, you can get paid commissions on pushing those types of things and pushing those types of products. I've tried the Amazon one and it was more work than the revenue Drake generated, to be really honest with you, but I've not been consistent with it. So kind of look at like different affiliations. You could have stuff which resonate with your brand, create those partnerships and push to your followers. Now, obviously you've got sponsored posts and brand collaborations. I've done one recently with Retro Kids. I've got some more in the pipeline, more brand stuff coming out where obviously you paid for that content, for that post. You can charge different things for different platforms. So YouTube, you can charge slightly more than Instagram, and then TikTok has probably paid the least amount. But you've got those different avenues you can do on sponsored posts. What I found tricky was until you put yourself into the posts, they might just use you to do like advertised products. So a company have approached me just to not use me, just use the page to advertise a product and do a sponsored ad with it so it gets the right reach, which is cool. Like, that's fine, it's still monetization. Now, another thing you could do is create your own digital products. So in theory, I could have done this video into an ebook and sold it. My personal opinion on that is I just would rather give this out for free and give something back after what people have done for me in my life and my career. But some people, like my wife, does it. She's amazing at creating ebooks for nutrition, and she's awesome at it, and she goes and does that. So if it resonates with you and it makes sense for you, go ahead and try it. So you can create those. You can create different Etsy products as well and push it on there. You can create drop ship type t-shirts and socks and all the different types of clothing items that you wear, caps, bags, etc. I think T-Mill is really good for that in the US. In the UK, it's less so. Emails and newsletters, obviously, if you can create, like, sort of curate the data that you need to create your newsletter, and then you can push out weekly things, monetize it with ads. That's another route that you could go down to establish your following and establish your community, get you talking to the community, what's hot, what's trending, etc., etc. And you've got Patreon. I don't want to say OnlyFans because I don't know if that actually exists for nostalgia content creators in terms of like this, but you could do like a Patreon style, OnlyFans style subscription service, which is where you're giving additional content out, which is tailored to the individual. Not something that I've really looked at, in all honesty, because I'm married with kids, and I think me being on OnlyFans would not be very good for my career, my actual career. But I can see how to get paid out for that personalized service or to have the conversations with you could make sense. So I think Patreon would probably be the one that I would opt for. But that's nowadays in 2025, that's a viable option. So let's just do a little recap. So you've got, from a growth formula perspective, you've got hooking fast. If you remember this, you had a great childhood. When I said I can't wait to grow up, it was the biggest mistake I ever made. So something which hooks the audience is awesome. Triggering emotion, so the Daniel MP3 childhood actually helps trigger the emotion. Tagging someone who you might know or might affiliate with this could be useful. Cross post everything you can. Alter your content for YouTube if it's going to be stuff which you've done your research which is not going to resonate with the YouTube audience. You need to look at that as a separate subsidiary to TikTok and Instagram. Batch create content. So if you choose your niche as school memories, you could create like 5-6 posts in an hour, and then you can schedule them and get it all done ahead of time, so you're not then chasing your tail every day. And pin your reels. Obviously, pin the reels which do the best. So when people go onto your page, they see you as like, oh, like when people go onto my page, they see a 57 million viewed reel pinned. It might make them view that content and then some more content. It's really, really useful. So from a growth perspective, my guidance is be consistent. Do not start doing this. If you want to do this if you want to do this like long term, do not just start doing this, post a few videos and give up if they don't do well. My first video didn't do well on TikTok for 6 weeks. Now 6 weeks of posting 1 to 2 times a day, every single day. And after 6 weeks, we got one video which got like 70,000 views. It's like, oh, that's cool. Like, let's try it again. And let's keep learning and keep going. It doesn't just happen overnight. And I see so many people start, which is a good thing, by the way, because you've got to start, but then give up because it hasn't gone viral like that. We all want things like that. You need to dig deep, keep posting, keep going, keep learning, keep iterating, keep figuring out, okay, what is it that you enjoy, but what does my audience enjoy? What am I? Because when you're starting out, that's what you're figuring out. Very, very few, like the 0.0001% of people know what they are from day dot, and it just works. It doesn't just happen like that. So be consistent, post. If you don't enjoy it, stop, because there's no point doing something if you don't enjoy it. But if you want this long term, you have to be consistent and you have to keep going and you can't give up, because you never know that next video is going to be a 5 million viral video. You just don't know. It's a great thing about social media.